Senator Bernie Sanders won in Nevada by a wide margin. It has a lot of Democrats completely losing their minds. But here's Bernie's take on it.
Don't tell anybody, because these folks get very, very agitated and nervous. We're going to win here in Texas. We're going to bring our people together. Black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight.
They love Bernie.
Yeah. So, you know, people keep trying to get everybody worried. This is 3 races, right?
Yes.
This is 3 races, and everyone has said, you know, the first 2 may or may not carry a lot of weight, particularly with the voters of color, because the first 2 races didn't really represent anybody that didn't have color. And so Bernie's won 2.
Yeah.
Peter's won 1. That's 3, no? 3 races?
Iowa's such a cluster, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No offense to Iowa, but I think we're all over Iowa.
Yeah. So
he won big, and he won with basically every demographic except people over 65, and he won absolutely dominated with Latino voters, which I think came as a surprise to a lot of pundits. It certainly came as a surprise to me. Men, women, college-educated voters, people who don't have a college education. He did really well with minority groups. Look, this is a lot like Trump to me. It's like the outside populist fringe candidate. There's so many moderates running that they're fracturing the moderate debate, or excuse me, the moderate candidates. And he really is like sticking it to the media, and there's a lot of people in the media that are angry and upset. Chris Matthews went on MSNBC and he was comparing it to, I believe, France surrendering in World War II. James Carville is saying that there's absolutely no way that he can beat Trump. I wouldn't underestimate populist candidates in any way. I think you got to learn the lessons from 2016, but right now I think it's Bernie's to lose.
Well, I can see where he's appealing to young voters.
Yeah.
He's for the Green Deal. You know, the young people should be concerned about climate change. He wants to wipe out student debt, which is a young person's issue.
unless you still are paying your student debt off.
Right, that's true.
A lot of people
He wants to protect abortion rights, which is a young person. Everybody over 65 doesn't have to worry about that. And so I can understand why he's popular with young people. I think that his rage and his anger is appealing to people. He's getting them excited because they're raging and angry also. So it all is working for him. But I would like the next debate, people, the moderates or whoever's running against him, to say, well, how are you going to pay for all this if the Senate and the House are both stay Republican?
And Anderson Cooper asked him that, and he couldn't answer.
Well, that's to
right.
me, if I was down that stage, that would be my question to him. Exactly how are you going to pay for
He was
this?
just asked it, he could not answer it.
And I mean, truth be known, every Democrat that I speak to today and yesterday says, if he's the nominee, I'm voting for him. Because we want Trump out.
100% get in line for
But
this guy.
it's a question of, but it's a question of the moderates and the independents and getting them on board, and the never-Trumpers and people who have a lot of money, you want them to vote too.
Never-Trumpers.
I would agree with all of that, with everything that everyone has said, because I think if you look at the past, if he wins South Carolina, I think he is the presumptive nominee.
Yeah.
There's just no question about it. The only person in history thus far, or in the past 30 years, that has not won every single, I guess, caucus going before Super Tuesday was President Clinton, and that was 1992. He lost and then swept Super Tuesday and then was elected. So I think this is Bernie's to lose at this point. But I also think that he got this coalition together because people are so angry at establishment politicians, right? They're so angry at the gridlock that exists in D.C. But Bernie hasn't really been that effective in D.C., and I think he needs to be questioned on his record. I mean, he is supportive of climate change. He is supportive of health care for all. How does he pay for it? And the other thing is, I mean, what about his positions on guns, which is very flip-floppy? What about his other positions that have been very important to Democrats? So I think he really has to be challenged on a lot of his votes. He's got to be challenged on a lot of his positions. And I think we're going to see that tomorrow because they're all going to attack the front runner.